Hello, everyone, and welcome to another one of our recap race analysis of the Giro d'Italia 2025, where myself and Patrick Blake of Auto Cycling dissects what's been happening in the stage. And I mean, Patrick, stage 15, what happened?
Stage 15 of the Giro d'Italia takes us from Fiume Vento to Assaggio over the Monte Grappa, 21 kilometers, an average of just under 6%. We see a breakaway forming very early on. There's a lot of people in this breakaway, but of note, rather than trying to recite all 30 people to you, there was definitely like Danny Martinez and Aliotti were in there for Red Bull Bora-hansgrohe, which instigated UAE Team Emirates to chase behind. We also had Marco Frigo, Fortunato, Ulissi, Ana Rubio was up there as well. Those are some of the higher up people in GC. And we see over the Monte Grappa climb, yes, there's a bit of kind of back and forth. People are attacking and counter-attacking. Fortunato goes over first with Frigo. Frigo counter-attacks on the descent. But behind the main action on Monte Grappa was that we see Egan Bernal attacking. Del Toro follows him, and they are joined by Carapaz, Derek G, and a Rensman. There might have been some others in there, but those were definitely ones that I can remember from the big GC favourites. And we see, interestingly enough, Scott, on the descent of Monte Grappa, whilst Free goes off on his own solo mission, we see not Red Bull Bora-hansgrohe bringing back that Del Toro group, but UAE Team Emirates. Very, the politics of the team. It's all interesting. It's all kind of coming to a head. We've been talking about it for days, but anyway, we're going on to the kind of final category 2 test. It averages like 5%. We again in the breakaway we see Verona hitting out really early with Gianmarco Garofoli in tow. Although actually he wasn't actually in tow. He kind of just slowly faded away because we had this secondary breakaway form of there was like Verona, Garofoli, Bardet, Prodom, and some others in there. I think there was also Filippo Zana. So they're trying to fight it out on the Category 2 test. Meanwhile, in the peloton, it's the Ineos Grenadiers setting pace with Lucas Hamilton. And then with Jonathan Castoviejo, we see Bernal attacking for the Red Bull kilometer, but the breakaway had already taken all those seconds. So that was a bit confusing as to what was going on there, whether it was they were just testing the legs of some of the competitors or whether they actually thought the Red Bull seconds, like bonus seconds, were still on offer. I'm not too sure, but we then see, I think it was like then UAE kind of take up the pace setting towards the top. It gets a little bit steeper towards the top as well. EF come to the front with Cepeda, who then launches Carapaz. Carapaz's attack was devastating. It takes a lot of people with him, including kind of Ayuso and Del Toro. Tiberi's there, Caruso, Derek G. But you see a gap, and the one person who isn't there is Primož Roglic. Mind blowing. Well, I don't know if it's mind blowing or not. I do, but basically, Roglic had a lot of crashes, and yeah, he was kind of, he was on the limit. He was there with Danny Martinez and Pellizzari, and at the top of this climb, there's still a good 30-ish kilometers still to go, maybe a little bit less, maybe like 20, 25. And we're seeing, obviously, Verona is still out in front solo at this point, but we see this, essentially, the group of GC favourites minus Roglic, and Pidcock was with Roglic as well. So minusing those two, pretty much everybody else was up ahead. But then we have a lot of leaders with not a lot of domestiques. But UAE have McNulty there, and there's Caruso for Tiberi as well. But then we start to see some domestiques start to come back. Obviously, from the initial breakaway, we then had Bart Lemon coming back. We had Marco Frigo coming back. They started working on the front with McNulty and Micah. And then Nairo Quintana comes out of nowhere and starts working on the front for Aina Rubio. So pretty much kind of like lions gathering around a wounded gazelle. They just start hammering it and just putting the nail into Roglic's coffin, so to say. Because he is a minute behind at least by this point, I would say. And I think it maybe grows a little bit, but out in front, we've still got Verona. He's being chased down. The gap's coming down from that chase from Prodom and Bardet and Zana and Scaroni. But they don't quite get to Verona. They get to about maybe 30 seconds or so. It looks like the peloton's gaining in on that group to then fight for the bonus seconds. We're seeing people kind of who have been working falling off the back. But anyway, the top 10 of today is that Verona on Lidl-Trek's fantastic Giro d'Italia. This is their 6th stage win now, after Pedersen's 4, Dan Huller's 1, and now Verona after Ciccone DNS the day. I forgot to mention that as well. Great for Lidl-Trek. We've then seen second place Florian Stork, Scaroni in third, Bardet 4th, Prodom 5th, Zana 6th, Garofoli 7th, Filippo Fiorelli, who was in the initial breakaway, finishes 8th, Caruso in 9th, and Max Poole in 10th place. They are all 29 seconds down on Verona, but then we go back and Roglic loses a minute and 30 seconds to pretty much every major GC contender, which means that the GC standings is pretty much status quo. Del Toro still leads on a minute 20 on Simon Yates, but Roglic drops 5 places from 5th to 10th, and he's 3 minutes and 53 seconds behind Isaac Del Toro, and 2 minutes 27 down on Ayuso. Trying to do some quick maths there. There was a lot going on today, Scott, for a stage. It was probably just going to be a breakaway day, which, I mean, it kind of was at the end of the day, but there was a big casualty.
Yeah, Roglic. We won't start there, out of respect for Carlos Verona, his first Grand Tour stage win. This guy has kind of been a helper, 16th Grand Tour as well, and getting a stage win for him is going to be absolutely an amazing feeling. Only his second victory as well, a good climber. But yeah, let's hope he doesn't get the Mass Pillerson treatment of getting a cake in his face by Mick Rogers. I don't know if you saw that, Patrick. It's pretty funny. Maybe that's, yeah, we'll see. Maybe that happens when you win 4 stages, so Carlos Verona has a bit of time to make up for that. Well, he's safe. He's cake safe. But yeah, Lidl-Trek, what a way to respond to Ciccone leaving the race, you have to say. And sorry, UAE as well. Yesterday's recap, we forgot Juan Ayuso has won a stage as well. So UAE has actually won a stage already. But yeah, Lidl-Trek, incredible momentum that they have right now in the Giro.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I'm trying to think back to a team which has won this much with multiple riders. It's very easy to say, oh, just Tadej Pogacar at the Giro last year, obviously. That's like a one-man band, you know? When you actually go into a Grand Tour and you get 6 victories and it's spread across multiple riders, it's, you know, it doesn't happen very often. And if people can remember last time that happened, be sure to put it in the comments section, because it's definitely something that doesn't happen very frequently, and it's super cool for Lidl-Trek. They've had such a fantastic Giro d'Italia, and it's still not done yet. We remind you there's still 6 stages left to go. There's still opportunities for them to try and get more stage wins, and it's great for Verona, isn't it? He's been working for other people just selflessly for years and years, and he gets his opportunity, and, you know, he grabs it with both hands and he gets it. And it was in the balance at times. I was like, he's got it. And then I was like, oh, maybe he doesn't have it. But yeah, it was fantastic. And just seeing the images of him with his family at the end, I was like, oh, it just kind of brings you back. It's not just like riders. It's like there's a whole, you know, family and everything behind it as well.
I mean, yeah, great result. I'm thinking Jumbo-Visma 2012, where they had like Laporte winning, Wout van Aert won, Vingegaard won as well. Or like Team Sky when they were winning in 2012, which is a long time ago. Wiggins, Froome. I think Mark Cavendish took 3 stage wins as well. But I mean, that was an insane team to say the least. But I mean, that all aside, the big elephant in the room, Primož Roglic, is his Giro d'Italia winning it, podium, all this, is it done? I mean, if you're struggling on this kind of stage, I mean, sorry, mate, stage 16 is dreadful.
I think it's over. You know, just the signs weren't there today for me. Even when we were going up the Dori climb, 16.6 kilometers at 5.3%. That is not a mountaintop finish. There were guys in there, like there were multiple UAE team Emirates rider like Domestiques who were climbing better than Roglic. And I think what really kind of set it off in my mind was I just looked at his position in the peloton. Like Roglic, or like generally when you're a GC rider and you're feeling good and you're going to be competitive and fighting for the podium, you're in the first bit, aren't you, of the peloton? Like, you're in the first few wheels. You're at least fighting for the wheel of like Del Toro or a Yuzo or something, because you want to be able to follow them if they attack. But Roglic was like in the like halfway down in like the bottom half of the peloton. That's either like he's just lacking the confidence, he's needing like mentally like more draft by being further back to like have it an easier ride. And from that, I was just like, the fact that he's not up there was just an immediate warning sign to me today. I was like, if somebody attacks, Roglic is just not going to be able to follow. And I think that was the case. I think he was really hoping just to kind of try and just get through today and hope nobody was going to attack. But he got found out when Carapaz went. And yeah, like you say, if he's not following every other GC rider who's in like the top 15, pretty much, he's not going to stand a freaking chance when we actually get to proper mountaintop finishes, right? I mean, maybe he could do something kind of Froome 2018-esque. Maybe I'm writing him off too early, but you know, he's had some crashes in this race. He seems to still be suffering from that. He says that he's getting better day by day, but honestly, how many times have we heard the word day by day being used by a professional cyclist in an interview? It's just the most smoke and mirrors response ever. I don't have faith anymore, Scott.
It's a bit crazy when you think about it. When that team lined up, Daniel Martinez, second place last year, Jide Hindley, winner in the past and podium finisher as well. And then you've got Primož Roglic. Last time he was here, he won it in 2023. And obviously losing Jide Hindley. I mean, Daniel Martinez, they should have kept him up there in the GC. Obviously, he's nowhere now, but yeah, you talked about in the preview that they should keep Daniel Martinez up there as kind of a plan B if Roglic hits the fan and hits the fan. Yeah, let's just go with that. Yeah, so big question marks here. And that stage 16, could that be the KO? Are we even going to see Roglic finishing this race?
Honestly, it's a good question. I think it wouldn't surprise me if he pulled out. He is a champion, though. Like, he will want to complete the race, I think. But there were even talks earlier on in the race about him just kind of using this as a Tour de France build-up. Apart from one like Pogacar last year, who just dominated this race and then went on to do really good in the Tour. Roglic has flopped here and will probably flop in the Tour as well, because he'll probably crash on the second stage on a cat eye or something like that. I think, honestly, Red Bull is disappointing. Unlike UAE Team Emirates, where yes, we made a mistake. I forgot one user won a stage. Red Bull have not had anything out of this race, have they? Like, nothing, not a single thing. But if they want to get something, they need to let Pellizzari go do something. He has been amazing at babying Roglic through all of these calamities. And I think it would be a shame to just have Pellizzari just continue just to, you know, tow his grandma around for the rest of the race. Like, he just let Pellizzari go do something in a breakaway, please, because he actually looks to be in decent form, and there's no point just chaining him to Roglic for a top 15 in GC.
Yeah, as you said, in terms of the GC, he's sitting 3 minutes and 53 seconds down. Oh my goodness, that is crazy. Yeah, I mean, obviously he's the big loser of the day, and we're both saying he's not going to win this. In his group as well was Tom Pidcock. So GC Pidcock has moved down 5 places to 16th in the GC. And what you and I said at the start of the Giro, he should just go for stages instead of trying this GC thing. It's kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. When I saw him being dropped, I was like, it's too late now for you to... Like, there aren't really that many breakaway days left, I don't think. There's mountaintop finishes, which don't generally go to breakaways that frequently. They're generally seen as just a GC fight. And given the absolute just eagerness of, like, Ineos for Bernal and EF for Carapaz, there's just no way that any of those mountaintop finishes are going to go to a breakaway, in my opinion. They will be fought tooth and nail to try and gain and put pressure on other GC riders. Pidcock has just spent the whole time thinking himself as a GC rider when he's just not. And I just wish he'd just let this weird chip on his shoulder go. He's not a GC rider. He is a 16th in GC rider. I swear he's finished in 16th in the Tour and 12th or something. Like he's just not that guy. He is not a GC rider, and he needs to just let it go, quit, just let the ego go, and just go win stages. And he might, there haven't been that many breakaway stages, and maybe he could have won the gravel stage.
He could have won this stage if he was in the breakaway and had lost a lot of time. He could have been up there.
Yeah, exactly. But it's too late now, isn't it? Like he's too far gone into the GC fight, and there's not enough stages left, which are breakaway days.
Okay, Ineos Grenadiers doing Ineos Grenadiers things, but I mean, it was good to see that there was actually a punch at the end of it, at the end of Monte Grappa, and pacing a lot. I mean, Ineos, you shouldn't really be doing pacing when your two guys are at the bottom end of the top 10. But Patrick, what did you make of the UAE betrayal? Where Isaac Del Toro was up there, and then you were saying it was the internal politics you were seeing. Yeah, what did you make of that? That was quite bizarre. Like the Malia Rosas marking moves, and then your UAE teammates are chasing you back.
I found it very confusing, and I'm still trying to piece it together even now. I mean, gosh, even over the top of a Dori climb as well, you see a counterattack by... There was like a Rensman counterattacked, and then Caruso counterattacked, and Del Toro shut down both of those. Even though there were teammates there, which he could have relied upon, maybe that's just kind of the newness of this scenario of leading the race for him. Maybe he was just getting carried away. I mean, obviously, his legs look like they're just an absolute gold at the moment. So you probably would do if you feel like you can do. But I'm confused by UAE Team Emirates. I don't get why they chased him back. I think they're worried still about Ayuso and keeping him in the fight for some reason, even though I think Del Toro looks a bit better than he does. And yeah, I know that Ayuso's had the experience or more experience in a Grand Tour. But I just think that generally Del Toro looks better. And yes, he hasn't had the experience of leading a race in the final week, but I don't think that's necessarily that big of an issue if your legs are there, right? And I find it really weird that they chased him back. It's like, okay, yes, I know that it would have given Carapaz and Bernal and Derek G more time, and perhaps that would have threatened Ayuso's GC position, or maybe they're worried about Carapaz and Bernal and their ability to break Del Toro in the final week, especially Carapaz, who is looking really strong. So maybe they were worried about that. Maybe they were worried that he was isolated and they need to bring it back, but they could have at least just looked to Red Bull Bora-hansgrohe to chase it back. I don't get why they didn't do that. I don't know, they've got an absolute wealth of talent, and they just felt the need to use it to bring back their own rider. Very weird.
Yeah, no, I agree. And yeah, the other point you touched on as well. Obviously, I think it was like 60, 70 kilometers. That move went away, and there was like very small chance it was going to stay away. But it's just the optics were weird, and that's what we both kind of commented on. But I mean, I think that's a great place to finish as well. This is stage 15. We'll be back for stage 16, I think the Queen stage, 4,900 meters. And make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, follow Patrick's own channel, I'll Do Cycling, and we will be back for that stage 16, which should be an absolute belter if this is anything to go by. But of course, as always, thank you for watching, and we will see you around.